the dearest of our many liberties is under attack all throughout Europe. Free speech is no longer a given. What we once considered a natural element of our existence, our birthright, is now something we once again have to fight for. And I would personally not qualify myself in that fight as a free man anymore. 5 years ago, I lost my personal freedom, and since then I am under 24-hour police protection because of all the threats I get because of everything I say.
That was Dutch politician and activist Geert Wilders, a controversial voice against radical Islam who for almost a decade has been living with assassination threats and unable to go anywhere without 24-hour protection. Now, I sat down with Geert for an exclusive interview as he discussed his brand new book, Marked for Death, Islam's War Against the West and Me. How are you? Very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Sean. Privileged to be on your show.
Your security literally has had to come in and out of this building many, many times prior to you being here. You are marked for death because of your statements on Islam. Tell us.
Yes, very true. I'm an elected politician from the Netherlands, and because I speak the truth about Islam, I'm marked for death. I'm banned from many countries in the world. I've been taken to court, both criminal court for 3 years, luckily acquitted on all charges, but nevertheless taken to court. And I'm not the only one. There are many people in Europe who speak the truth about Islam, like the cartoonist from Scandinavia. We all know Kurt Westergaard or Las Vilks or others. Mm-hmm. And the price for telling the truth about Islam is that well, you will be marked for death indeed.
All right. Now, one of the things that you've supported for decades now, the Netherlands have welcomed foreigners, prided itself on being a multi-cultural society. Now it has one of the strictest immigration policies in the 27-member European Union. Why, and you have been particularly outspoken about this and been a leader. Why?
Well, you know, Europe has changed. Europe is in the process of Islamization. That's why I'm very proud to publish my first book, Marked for Death, here in the United States, with a foreword by my friend Mark Stein. And the book shows that Europe, unlike America, has become almost half an Islamic continent. Mm-hmm. And that means that everything is not going for the better. We lose our freedom. We lose our freedom of speech. We lose the values that we share with America, the values that are based on Christianity, on Judaism, on humanism. And we are not Islamic. I believe that the biggest disease in the Western world today is what we call cultural relativism. Politicians that are afraid to say that our own culture, our own value is far better than the Islamic culture. And this is what we are fighting for. And we have an enormous influx of immigrants from Muslim countries, and a lot of people don't feel at home anymore in their own streets. Look, for instance, at the Moroccan youth in Holland. 65% of them have been detained by the police at least once. So it's getting for the worse, and we have to stand up and fight for our own identity and not accept the fact that Islam at the end of the day will cost us our democracy.
When Salman Rushdie wrote the satanic verses years ago, and then there was a fatwa against him, there are fatwas against you. It would be viewed by radical Islamists as a good thing because you have defamed the prophet, you have defamed the religion. So when you say you're marked for death, this is reality for you.
It is.
What is your life like now that you have to deal with that?
Well, you know, my wife and I, for the last 8 years, haven't had the most pleasant life when it comes to safety and security. We lived in prison cells, actually in the same cell as one of the terrorists of the Lockerbie attack stayed in Holland. In that prison cell we had to live for security reasons for half a year. We went to army barracks. I have not been able, as an elected politician, to walk freely on the streets without security for almost 8 years. I cannot visit the cinema or go shopping or anything else in a normal way as other people do. So if you criticize Islam, and once again, it's not about me, it's about all the persons who have the guts to tell the truth about Islam, then you pay a very high price.
Here's my fear. I think we're living now in very dangerous times, and if there's going to be a World War III, I think it's going to be because of the rise of radical Islamists. It's frustrating to me from my country's standpoint. This president won't even recognize a war on terror. They're saying it's over. They wouldn't say it for a long time. The president was so wrong on Egypt.
Yeah.
I knew that the Muslim Brotherhood would take over. I knew they're a terrorist group. Their first actions were to declare Israel an enemy, cut off their gas and oil supplies, and say that the Camp David Accords were over. So now you have Israel, in one case, surrounded.
Yeah.
And you see Hezbollah, Hamas, the Islamic Jihad, the Muslim Brotherhood, funded by these proxy wars being fought by Iran that wants to destroy Israel. Do you see the rise in Islamic extremism around the world, and do you think this turns itself into potentially a world war?
Well, I'm afraid I have to subscribe to everything you said, and this is also one of the reasons that I believe that we should be in full support of the state of Israel. Israel is not only surrounded by people, by countries that really at the end of the day, because of the Islamic doctrine, wants to have Israel removed from the planet, but Israel is also a brother to us when it comes to sharing the values that we have. And I believe that parents in America and in Europe can sleep easily at night because Israeli parents are really lying awake, wondering for the security of their sons. The border of jihad, the border between the West and the barbarism of the East, of Islam and reason of the West, is exactly the border between Israel and the Arab countries.
Mark for Death, very nice to see you. Thank you so much for being with us.
Pleasure to be here.